Hey guys, welcome to the Gray People Podcast, episode 1.
Welcome to the Gray People Podcast, where topics that people expect to be black and white are discussed by going into the gray areas. And now, your trio of hosts, Sebastian Zuniga, Reina Rivera, and Randy Felice.
Hey everybody, appreciate you guys joining in to our first podcast here at Gray People. Just a group of friends that decided to take their conversations onto the air. We just talk about, daily things about life. Today we just want to touch a couple subjects. We want to talk about friendships in the social media age. The do's, the don'ts, who to follow, not to follow. What does it mean to you when somebody stops following you that is your friend? Just so everybody knows, my name is Sebastian. I'm Colombian, born in New York, living out in Salt Lake City, Utah.
So yeah, I'm Randy. I'm Dominican. I grew up in the Dominican Republic, so sometimes I'm gonna mess up some words. So be ready for that, and just know that's where a lot of my experiences come from. So essentially, as I talk about things, this is the life I grew up living. So.
And I'm Reina. I'm born in New Jersey, raised in Puerto Rico, and now in Utah. I am the female perspective of this podcast, so get excited. I got you girls, so I'm just here to represent.
So to give you guys a little heads up, kind of what this is going to look like. So again, like Sebastian was saying, we'll talk a little bit about a topic, try to get into a little bit of those gray areas, some of the things that sometimes people may or may not consider about things that people think is black and white. So another thing is we'll talk about some of the things that recently were impactful for each of us so that you guys can get a little perspective on that. And at the end, we'll leave you with a little note from the people, calling it the people's note.
Yeah, we'll break it down, keep it engaging for you guys, entertaining, have a good time. This is a people's podcast, so it's for everybody. Eventually, we'll get a lot of people's ideas in here, people's thoughts. So just breaking it down, that's how it's going to be. It's just going to be a really good time. We do have a correspondent here with us, and I want everybody to get to know Sean because we all love him here at the show. Sean, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey, what's up, guys? My name's Sean. Like he said, I'm Puerto Rican and white from the Northeast, and I just like to have a good time. I say a lot of shit. Don't get offended. It's just who I am.
He's our ear to the streets. He keeps it real 100%, sometimes a little too much. Okay, cool. So we're going to just jump into the subject that I was thinking about it lately. Nowadays, we got this whole social media. Listen, I'm not too old. I'm in my late 20s, but it does sound kind of crazy to say that I'm in my late 20s. I still remember when MySpace came out, so I'm dating myself a little bit. I remember when Facebook started blowing up, but I started thinking about how nowadays you have friends on Facebook, maybe Instagram, that you're really not friends with, but you don't unfollow them. You might follow them and don't like them. They might not like what you like or what you post, and you feel a certain type of way. Just so many things that I guess what is social media etiquette, and I just want to get everybody's ideas on that. So what do you think about that, Reina? Being friends with people on social media that you're not friends with in real life, or vice versa to that? Like, give me your thoughts.
Well, I think it all comes down to what was the friendship, I guess, before. Because, you can have people that just follow you for whatever reason, and it's cool to have their likes because it just boosts up whatever you're posting. But if someone was your friend and no longer is your friend, then I feel like it's kind of a waste of space. I could use that little spot, that little number, to put somebody else on there.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Back in the day, right, it was something that you had to work towards. Friendships were things that were built from all those day-to-day interactions. Now, today that looks a lot different, right? Those interactions are, for good or bad, they're online now. When you post something, you're expecting your friends or your family or whoever it is to kind of support you or give you their opinions on the matter, just as you kind of did before, right? Before, if you got a new job, or if you were walking down the street and you got punch in the face, right, you will bring it up to who was around you to kind of get either the support from them or to kind of get their take on it. And that's essentially what we do now. We just happen to do it online, and that's why it may mean a lot. It may mean a lot for people when maybe you don't like their stuff, or vice versa, when you're just kind of just being there, not really supporting the movement and what you're trying to do.
I guess, yeah.
We hear the key word is support.
Yeah,
so elaborate on that. What you mean support?
So essentially, with any kind of relationship, whether it's friendship, a romantic relationship, whatever that looks like, there's got to be the same type of effort from both sides. It can't work if one person's doing all the pulling and trying to make it work. So essentially, for a good friendship to work out, I think there has to be that support, and whether that's that text once in a while saying, "Hey, bro, I hope you're good. I haven't heard from you." I like.
Okay, so putting it back more into that social media, the likes. So you guys are telling me, if I'm friends with somebody, we've been friends for years, outside of the whole social media, like I see you, I chill with you, we're friends, but now you're not liking my stuff. Are they taking a shot at me? They don't like me no more? Because this is what people are wondering. I personally, I don't care. What do you think, Raina? Because you said something earlier about keeping that space for somebody else, but what do you mean keep that space for somebody else? This is a social media world, so it's not like they're literally bothering you. Or is it bothering you that they're not liking your stuff and they're your quote-unquote friend?
Yeah, so pretty much it's like the concept of it, and it sounds dumb. And again, like you said before, we're older, we didn't grow up like this, but now that it's what it is, then we have to go with the flow. So pretty much if the person isn't supporting you in the things that you're posting or the things that you're doing in your life, in social media and in real life, I just feel like then why are we following each other? Like,
Okay, so I get it. So you're saying this is a mix, obviously, if they're not supporting you in real life or in social media. Because me personally, like I'm saying, we're millennials, but we're kind of like the first one, so we weren't. So we did grow up with this, but we had a taste of what it was without it. But I've only been an adult with social media, so this is how I operate.
So let me ask you, right? So let's say, for example, Sebastian, you hit somebody up, right, and it's, a text, a call, and this person maybe is not quite responding, right? And it could be, we get busy, things happen, a lot of things can come into that situation where that person may not be responding.
Okay.
But let's say on top of that, this person's not liking your stuff, they just seem to be completely absent. So then at what point does it become where you start wondering, is this my friend?
I guess then that's a great question. I would break it down. I'm simple when I say you're my friend till otherwise. So if I'm hitting you up and you haven't hit me up a couple times, I'm going to be more distant. Obviously, I'm not going to hit you as much. If you're not liking what I'm posting, I'll still like what you're posting, whatever. Until I have that one moment where somebody tells me, hey, man, we're not cool, then we're not cool. Till then, you're still going to be somebody I care for, friendly. But obviously, there's different levels. It's not going to be somebody, obviously, I'm chilling with because they're not even hitting me up or making contact. But it doesn't play a big role in should I follow them, should I not. I just don't put too much thought into it. I'll delete my own mother off Instagram if I had to. Like, it doesn't matter to me.
I think that's the difference between a guy and a girl.
So is this a guy or girl thing, or is this a people thing?
Honestly, I feel like that's what it is, because I mean, not to say that I overthink it, but as a girl, I'm probably just like, okay, like, if I'm liking your things and I'm pretty much treating the relationship as it was before, but you're the one that out of nowhere stopped doing this, then obviously I feel like it's like a question to be asked. Like, okay, are we cool? Are we not cool? And if we're not, then...
And the craziest thing
unfollow, entonces.
The craziest thing about that is that obviously, because you'd say this to somebody else and they'd be like, damn, what are you, 8 years old?
I know, yeah.
But it's just so big nowadays that's what it is.
And to what you were saying, Sebastian, I think I'm also that way where, I don't necessarily care so much if you hit me up on a daily. I still consider you my friend until I hear otherwise. Maybe you tell me straight up, listen, stop hitting me up. We no longer like what we were, or cool something like that. And then it's cool. You know what? Friends, they're 1 in a million, right? Now, those that want to be involved, those that want to be like family, then those are going to be around no matter what, I think that there are friendships that you can go 2 weeks without speaking to each other and you still know you got each other's back and you still support each other. So I think what it really comes down to is if you want to be a friend, if you want to be considered a friend, then just keep in mind you have to do and put in effort to make sure it works.
Social media wise and outside of social media.
Regardless, yeah. Okay. I mean, whether that's in person, social media, a text, a call, I mean, anything that it is.
So that sounds like that's your final thought on that.
Yeah.
So final thought on that, Randy says it doesn't really matter to him.
Put in the effort.
Put in the effort on social media or not. Raina, what's your final thought on that? If somebody is your friend but ain't being too friendly, not showing support on Instagram or Facebook, whatever it is, social media, or in real life, what's your final thought?
Or in real life, then we're not friends.
You're not friends. So, no follows. You unfollow this person, what do? You have a conversation?
Well, maybe, I mean, the unfollow, I guess, just says it all, to be honest, in this day and age.
That's what Raina really thinks about that, and I think it makes sense, right? An unfollow is a statement, or, in today's age, it really is just a slap in the face. What do you think? What's your last thought on it, Sebastian?
Very simple. It doesn't matter to me until otherwise you tell me. social media to me is just my life put out there, things that I like. You like them, you don't like them. As long as you don't have a dislike button on IG, I'm fine with you. That's it. Then we'll have something to talk about. Meanwhile, we're still cool. I like your stuff. If you don't like mine, that's cool. But one day I might wake up and I'm following you. That doesn't mean nothing to me. If you don't follow me, that's cool. I'll still show you love when I see you. So it's not a big deal.
Great. And talking about, impact, I guess that's a good segue for our next little piece that we want to do for this podcast. We're going to talk about 3 things or one thing each that we thought was impactful. Maybe something that made your day one day recently, maybe something that,
cool.
surprised you, blew your mind away, or made you fucking pissed, or
whatever it might be. Segment's called 3, 2, 1. So we'll just talk about that real fast. So, Raina, what do you think? What's something that stood out to you, impacted you, whatever it might be, something you that you feel overall made you happy, made you better, impacted you, whatever it might be?
Well, recently I saw Demi Lovato. If you don't know me, and you probably don't know that I'm such a huge fan of Demi Lovato, so I saw her post a bikini picture.
Oh, I love Demi Lovato.
And I honestly thought that was like the greatest thing because she's gone through eating disorders. She's gone through just a lot of, I guess, self-evaluation where now she's overcome so many things. And part of it was her, I guess, body positivity. It wasn't where it needed to be, but now that she finally posted a picture, she looks amazing. It's kind of like motivation for me to get there, and also like inspiring because you can definitely see where she came from and where she is right now.
That's cool. Not bad. Shout out to Demi Lovato. That is.
What about you, Seba? What's one thing that
impact? Something that was cool. I'm just overall positive person, but we all got a friend here on the show. We all got a good friend here at the show named Cabrera HD. That's his artistic name. Song just came out called Mensaje de Voz, which that means, what does that mean?
It's like technically
voicemail. And I know Spanish. It's embarrassing. So, song's out in Apple Music. You can go get it. Like I said, Cabrera HD. Put it out in a big website today. It's called elgenero.com, which just means the genre. And this genre is urban music in Spanish. Put it out. And honestly, I've seen, and I'm not putting anybody down, but I've seen artists put up songs that nobody knows and they get 75 to 100, maybe 150 likes. And we're sitting within less than 10 hours and there's over 1,500 downloads at this very moment. And the takeaway of that is just I've seen this guy work his ass off for such a long time where a lot of people might doubt him, but the guy has consistency. So it just takes, I take away that whatever it is that you guys want to do in life, anybody wants to do, really all you got to listen to is that inner voice. There's a million reasons why not to do something, and you only need one reason to really go ahead and do what you want to do in life. So
yeah, shout out Cabrera HD doing his thing. One recent thing that I feel was impactful for me was, and it may sound cliche, it may sound like something very cheesy, but that's just the way I am. It was, I think, the beginning of the year. I think it made me really think about, not as a, New Year resolution. I don't really think it's much of that, but just more about, I do want to be a little bit more mindful about positivity and how I try to inspire those around me, whether that's people around me at work, people, that interact with me from a friend's perspective, family perspective. I want to make sure that I'm very positive, or even more positive than I usually am going forward this year, and at the same time make sure that I'm always a plus and not a minus.
That's great. I like that. It's empowering. This is Hey, but honestly, we got Sean in here, so I want to hear his impact of the week. Put some headphones on this man. I want to hear something. It's always good. This show overall, what you guys are gonna feel is just positive energy, man. Good vibes. So we're gonna laugh. We're gonna have a good time, but we're always gonna leave with good messages. So, Sean, let us know something that impacted you this week, man. Something that you took away.
To add to that, make sure we don't overpromise and underdeliver. We're gonna try to be as positive.
We're gonna try, but life is a little crazy. It's funny.
We're gonna always try to leave you with the positive message, just in case someday we don't. This is the disclaimer right now.
Seeing Isaiah Thomas for the Cleveland Cavaliers come back.
Oh, we love that, man.
Like, this boy is our size. Well, he's taller than me, but he's pretty much a regular person's size, and he's out there balling after an injury. Today he dropped 19 points in 21 minutes, and the game before that he dropped 17 points in 19 minutes.
No, I like that.
And I'm just like, yo, man, that's just inspiring because he's a small guy playing a big man's game, and he just came off an injury. And he's chasing something that all of us always chase, and that's just the dream. His dream's basketball, and I'm over here just still trying to figure out mine.
Not
So-
bad.
Is this podcast done?
Okay, I like it. I like that. That's something impactful. We love basketball here on the podcast. A couple of us, but yeah, shout out Isaiah Thomas. Cleveland's going to win the ring in June. I'm sorry. I do love the Bay Area. Just letting everybody know that.
All right.
And
We're
just
moving
lost-
on.
We just lost followers.
We're moving on, Randy. Let us know what's next, Randy. Come on,
All right.
let us know. This
So-
is a natural show.
Next, and to kind of close off our podcast, we got the People's Note. And Raina's going to deliver that for
So
us.
people's notes, so you
Can I
guys
get a
know,
drum roll though?
it's basically a quote of the day. We like to call it the People's Note. Once again, is great people. You guys already know what it stands for, and this is your podcast, people. So we would like you guys to send in, your thoughts, your ideas. You can hashtag Great People
Podcast.
Podcast. So it's Great People Podcast on IG. So go ahead and do that. If you have any questions, anything you guys think we should talk about, you could just send it to our email. Randy, what's the email?
GreatPeoplePodcast@gmail.com.
Randy, take it away, please. Little drum roll for her, Randy, please.
guys.
This is as close as it
Just
gets.
don't forget. Inhale courage, exhale fear.
Boom, and there you have it.
I like it, guys. We just want to thank you guys for tuning in, listening to us. We'd like you to send, your thoughts. You can send it to our email. Randy, what's the email?
GreatPeoplePodcast@gmail.com.
You could also follow us on Instagram.
It's going to be Great People Podcast as
It's
well.
going to be Great People Podcast as well. We keep it nice and simple. I would like some hashtags. So anybody listening, hashtag yourself. Put it on Great People. Honestly, this is going to go from the ground up. So, there'll be 1-2 people that like it and we'll grow. Before you know it, I want to look back on this first episode and just remember it as a good time. I'm here doing a show with my friends. They're my family. And we're really just trying to do something fun for ourselves and for everybody. We're sure all these conversations happen all over the world, all over this country, all over the state, the city. And like we said, we're just trying to put this on a microphone, just have a good time.
So please send us in any ideas you have, anything you want us to know, anything you actually liked about it, any feedback you have that may be constructive. We're here to take it all. Some of it we're going to ignore, but that's just the way things are.
And we can't get rid of Sean, so just don't send that.
So thanks again for listening to Great People. Please subscribe if you haven't. Please follow us on Instagram. And again, let us know
I'm sure
anything
they
you
haven't
got.
subscribed. Imagine. We're just keeping it real here in the Great People Podcast.
All right. Let's
Stay
All
tuned
right.
for future giveaways, my friend.
Giveaways are coming. I'm telling you. This is the first episode. Cut.